I'm Dave Waterman, aka Frankenshot. However, in my anonymous world and my anonymous life, there's many a lot anonymous stories that help make people think. I like to think, I like to read, I like to learn. However, no one else liked to read, think, or learn, or even read their own books at the time. So we're going to go with this. He who descended will rise again when the river opens up. Another anonymous read from my anonymous life, and another anonymous thank you to all my anonymous friends. Beneath the dust of forgotten kingdoms and beneath rivers that have shifted their course for thousands of years, there are whispers of a tomb not meant to be found, a chamber sealed not merely by stone but by fear. Ancient rulers buried secrets with their dead, believing that if the truth remained hidden long enough, mankind would eventually forget what once walked among them. But history has a way of resurfacing. There are legends older than modern religion that speak of the morning star, the fallen one cast down from glory, not merely a symbol of rebellion, but being whose pride corrupted nations and whose influence spread through kings, empires, bloodlines, and hidden systems of power. Across centuries, fragments of the same story emerge under different names, different languages, and different civilizations. The ancients feared what would happen if the prison or resting place of such darkness was disturbed. Now strange signs surround the world, rivers drying, ancient cities uncovered by retreating warriors, buried ruins emerging from deserts, and oceans alike. Archaeologists searching places one unreachable, governments and private organizations racing to uncover what lies beneath the earth, while feeding the public carefully crafted explanations. Become some discoveries are too dangerous. The river openly is more than geography, it is revelation. In prophecy, rivers often symbolize barriers between worlds, between spiritual realms, between what mankind knows and what is concealed. When the river opens, hidden things rise, truth buried beneath generations of lies surface, darkness once sealed away begins stirring again. There are those who believe a tomb exists beneath an ancient river system tied to the old world empires, a place intentionally erased from maps of memory, not because it became treasure, but because it held evidence. Evidence that the stories passed down through the myth and scripture were rooted in reality, far more terrifying than the modern society is prepared to accept. What if the ancients were not primitive fools, but witnesses? What if their carvings, warnings, and records were attempts to preserve knowledge of any entity whose influence shaped civilization itself? Is this why they all have the same stuff on all their walls around the world? It's very similar, kind of like a common thread thing here. The morning star was never described as weak. He was described as beautiful, intelligent, persuasive, and capable of deceiving nations. The greatest trick darkness ever accomplished was convincing mankind that evil always arrives looking monstrous. Often it arrives polished, intellectual, attractive, and promising enlightenment. And now humanity stands at crossroads where ancient rebellion mirrors modern society perfectly. Men seek to become gods through technology. Morality is mocked. Truth is rewritten daily. The sacred is treated as entertainment. Entire populations are manipulated through systems of influence that barely understand. Pride rules governments, corporations, and institutions alike. The same spirit remains alive. So when the river opens up, it may not simply reveal bones or ruins, it may expose the origin of a deception that has followed humanity from the beginning. A deception woven into power structures, secret societies, occult symbolism, and the obsession powerful people have always had with immortality, forbidden knowledge, and control. Some will dismiss these ideas immediately because modern civilization has trained people to fear ridicule more than deception. Others will quietly feel something awaken inside of them because deep within the human spirit is the understanding that darkness on this scale cannot be explained away by politics alone. The ancients sealed these things for a reason. Not all doors are meant to be open. Even in the mummy movie, you don't read from the Book of the Dead, for crying out loud. Yet mankind, driven by arrogance and curiosity, always opens them eventually. If the Tomb of the Morning Stars are ever uncovered, the greatest shock may not be that it existed. The greatest shock may be discovered how many already knew where it was. The Euphrates River has dried up. Has he already been set loose? Interesting little read from my anonymous world and my anonymous life. I'd like to thank all my anonymous friends for the words of encouragement and more always, because this is an anonymously fun thing to have done.